Hello and welcome to my Killbox tutorial. I'm Icon and this video shall guide you through the basic process of building killboxes, what's important about them, and how to build a proper setup which will keep you safe. I won't be showing off any ideal setups or such things because I don't believe in perfect solutions. And also my goal is to show you how to do it yourself and how to optimize it for yourself, because it's always the most important thing with this game. Do things your own way and how you enjoy them. But there are for sure a few things that are worth mentioning about killboxes. First off, killboxes are not cheesy. Killboxes are sadly necessary once you amp up the difficulty of the game to a certain level, because it's almost not possible to survive attacks which are happening on the losing is fun or higher difficulties once your game grows older, because the game will just throw numbers at you which are basically only beatable with strategies like these. So what does a killbox do? Basically all the killbox wants to do is funnel enemies into your base in a way that you're able to deal with them positively. So there are three things you need to achieve to do that. First up, your enemies need to be immediately in range of your weapons. Second, they shall have no cover, while your people should have maximum cover. And third up, you need the necessary firepower to kill enemies, of course. If you have managed to achieve all three of these goals, or even overachieve them, you pretty much win every fight, which comes through this entrance here. Which brings me to another topic, but that's later down the road. So how to achieve those goals is quite simple. I'm going to talk about the cover first, because I feel like that's the most easy thing to acquire. As you see here, this place here is paved and this is not. I really do like pavings because pavings remove any form of vegetation, as you see here. Oops, I want to do slate uniformed look, you know. So as you might notice here, those trees are immediately disappearing, and trees and such are cover for your enemies. Of course, all the chunks here are also meant to be removed. So let's whip up the colony and see what will happen if we would use this. I'm also sporting those traps here because they are quite useful, but there are a few things lacking here. So my team here is set up with lots of different weapons, and that I did that on purpose. So I got one person with melee weapons, I got 2 sniper rifles, and I got 2 assault rifles, and I got 1 chain shotgun. So if we look at the assault rifle person, there's immediately noticeable this place here is not reachable. And that's bad. So therefore our defenses definitely need another layer of wall. And if we check this out now, Scotty will now be able to shoot to hit everybody. Let's put up, let's check out Rossi. Rossi though is still suffering from problems. It's really important that you check out that your people are able to hit enemies. So if we now recheck it, Rossi has no problems with this angle anymore, neither has Scotty. So this is now, range-wise, the problem is solved. Always consider your shortest ranged weapon, but well, if you notice here, the chain shotgun, it's kind of a odd job. I'm going to explain why I like chain shotgunners in my setups later. So the next thing, you don't want to be... don't want to leave these areas here empty. So another thing that's worth doing is putting up sandbags here. So the sandbags, I see people like to toss them like that. The sandbags do one thing for you. They will slow down your enemies, and this will reduce the time they or this will increase the time they need to trickle into your firing range. That gives you more time to eliminate enemies pouring into your defenses. So what I really do like though is an excessive use of traps as well on the way into your defenses, because the AI is really bad at avoiding traps, while your own people are pretty good at avoiding traps. This sums it up that you can eliminate a lot of enemies right away. Okay, so now we managed to eliminate all cover for the enemies, eliminate their speed advantage by putting down those sandbags here, and I made sure that everybody of my shooters except for the chain shotgunner is able to instantly attack the enemies. Problem solved. So next up are the gun turrets. If you're paranoid, you should not have a gun turret at this point. Oh, well, okay. I thought in God mode I could reinstall automatically too, because the explosions, if one of those would explode, they would like if this one would explode, it would kill this one. If this one would explode, it would most likely kill the other guys. So spread them out if you're afraid of that. I personally don't mind about that too much. I like to stack them up like that, because they have to explode before they explode, basically. Until then, you're going to enjoy a lot of firepower. So another thing about your enemies that's worth noting is they have a really easy a very simple way of seeing things. So if we drop down a turret here, any enemy entering the kill box now will attack this turret first. Why? Because it's the closest target. The enemy AI always favors the closest targets first, and you can pretty much abuse that by putting up several layers of turrets, just like something like that here. This way, your enemies will be busy attacking your turrets for quite some time before they actually decide to head into your own midst. So we can go for something like that. Very simple. I don't want to over exaggerate that. So there's one thing though, you need an enclosure is better because it protects from several angles. So about the cover for your own people, this is a very simple setup so far, and we're going to bring Justin for a little example here. So Potter will be our example. So if we take a look here, Justin is now shooting from an angle at Potter. She's being covered by 2 barricades, and that's pretty good. Let's go onto a direct shot. You see here only 1 barricade is taken into measure here. Cover is 43%, but there's one thing a lot of people like to use, and that's putting a wall into between that. Well, let's not use Potter for that. Let's put Reed here. So what happens now is Reed is now enjoying a higher amount of cover, but it's even getting better. So if Reed starts to shoot at Justin here, she's going to be, let's show it by numbers. So shot chance 23% and shot chance 14%. So that is a pretty heavy difference, and it does become even worse if we're using angles. So a lot of people really like to spread their defenses like that. Long story short, they go for, usually most people go for this pattern of wall, barricade, wall, just like that, and then you can park your people between those wall segments. But this does have one problem though. We're going to drop Justin over here to give you guys an example. Sometimes the angle of the wall pieces forbids hitting people entering the kill box. So I strongly advise you to check out if your people are able to hit the entrance from every spot here. Since this is not too wide, it doesn't become any problem whatsoever, so good job, we can work with that. But if your firing range gets wider and wider, like if we would go down like here, there would be a point where the walls block off the line of sight towards this, but most of the time you won't be suffering from too much of it like that. So next thing you might want to use is you want to put up a roof over your labyrinth, because roofs create darkness, and darkness also slows down your enemies, and it's only a small change, but it is a small change. So if we check this out, 3.06, here, multiplier for light 0%. It reduces the speed yet by another 20%. So putting up a roof over that is actually a thing which might help you. So another thing I really like to do is hide my power conduits beneath barricades, but in these scenarios it's not possible, because the barricades for my own turrets are already a bit problematic. So these could be used by your enemies as a cover too. If you don't want that, there's a simple solution to that. You can also swap over to sandbags. Sandbags have less HP and are more likely to explode or get destroyed during an explosion. But if you really want to cut out the cover for your enemies, the easier way is to remove those and go for an alcove situation like that. Here, building an alcove for your turrets will result in a situation where your enemies can't get any cover whatsoever. But remember, they will also be able to use these corners as cover. So ultimately, it's almost impossible to not create cover for your enemies while keeping your own buildings and structures safe, basically. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're building some defenses for your own people, your enemies will ultimately be able to use them as well. So enough of the theory. Let's use this one for the final, for the end of this for the end of this tutorial. So let's pause a moment and create a few enemies. We'll be right back, friends. Alright, so we are back with a little army of scythers, so let's just let them go in and see what will happen. So first up, a lot of those traps get triggered, and with some luck, they're not even able to enter our base, but well, those traps didn't take down everybody. But as you might notice, the traps already slowed down a lot of them, and now the ultimate slowdown commences further, and as you see here, those scythers are really having a hard time getting in there. So there we go, and now the Killbox works as intended, but there's a few people not being able to fight, of course. So you see here, the first turrets are going down. But everything so far works out as intended. But here's now the reason why I really like to have people with chain shotguns. They are a really good, really good reinsurance that if somebody or something gets close to your Killbox, or no, closer to your people, you got a very high stopping power. And the good thing there is, they won't be attacking anything back there, so they will immediately swap their focus onto something that's threatening your people. But keep in mind, this reduces your overall firepower. So there's one more thing I wanted to showcase here, but I didn't manage to. That's one thing I really like to do here as well, is there's this wonderful situation here. You put up a little room, and you drop your melee people in there, and this way the enemies won't be ever aware of your fighters. And let's say the raid would have had some centipede or anything else which I want to stop, or any enemy which I want to keep from attacking, like enemies with grenades or or rocket launchers, for example. Perfect example. It's really cool to have at the entrance of your kill box some room like this where you can hide your melee people and let them attack when there's some priority target. Because the good thing here is the AI can't discern a wall from a door unless the door has been opened in their vicinity while they were looking at it. So that's pretty much it. This kill box design is very simple, very easy, and there's so much improvement to be done if you want to. But it was very important for me to formulate a little tutorial that's quickly made. We're in for 15 minutes, and now you pretty much know everything you need to know about a kill box. You need to strip away the cover from your enemies, provide cover for your own people as much as possible, get the enemies into firing range immediately, and put up enough distractions in front of your enemies to give your people time to shoot them down. And yeah, bring enough guns. That's the next important thing. And animals help a lot too. If you want to, keep an animal herd here back and release them as necessary. I really like to have a few people with short-ranged weapons for some stopping power if we start to get overwhelmed. But keep in mind, if you start to get overwhelmed, usually that only means one thing: your kill box is not having enough firepower. Because ideally, your enemies will drop dead before they get close to that. So that's pretty much it. There's of course a lot more in-depth knowledge you can acquire from other tutorials or by trying out by yourself. That's the thing I want to recommend mostly, because trying out yourself is the most fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Drop me a comment down below. Feel free to ask questions, add in knowledge I have forgotten to mention here. Whatever, I'd be super happy to hear from you. Leave a like, leave a subscribe if you feel like supporting the channel. I'd be super happy. See you then. Bye-bye.